it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and welcome to another card video. Happy Easter! I wanted to show you guys the Easter cards that I made for my nieces. I used Design Space, some Simon Says stamp products, and some My Favorite Things products, as well as Recollections. So let me show you what I did. So I decided that I wanted to do an egg-shaped card for all three of them, but I wanted to do it in coordinating colors with their Easter baskets. I'll show you their Easter baskets. I'll show you the one. It's not a typical one, but this is one that I figured that they could use again. They could use it to take their toys down to the beach this summer. I got them some little toys that squirt water, so they can either use that for the bath or the beach or whatever, or the pool down at the house, so down at the shore house. So I thought those were that was an appropriate thing, and said I know that my twin nieces have a ton of Easter baskets, so I wanted to get them something a little bit different. And then I wanted to coordinate the colors with it to go along with their Easter basket. So the first thing that I did was I picked out the egg shape in Design Space. So the egg that I chose had 3 layers. This is the shadow layer, this is the bottom layer, and then the top layer had a design on it. I wanted to hide that because I knew I wanted a solid background so that I could create my own design on the egg. So once I picked the shadow layer to the size that I wanted it, I copied and pasted a second egg, and I welded the two of them together. So the way you can do that to create a shaped card is put the images right next to each other, and then go over slightly overlap the images. So if you can see here, it's just very, very slightly overlapped so that it creates a hinge. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that the bottom axis, the y-axis, ends up being the exact same for both of the shapes. So mine was 1.14 in the y-axis, so I made sure that they lined up so that I knew that the card would close properly. So once that was done, I had sized the bottom layer as well, and I cut that out of white cardstock. I did 2 layers for it, one for the liner on the inside and one for the outside. For the outside layer, I took a Simon Says stamp tri-circle die, and it's a metal die, and it has 2 little connectors here so that it just cuts these 3 circle pieces out. And I knew I wanted to put images inside. So I went through my stamp set, and I found this Somebunny stamp set from My Favorite Things. I've used this stamp set in the past, and I pulled out actually all the bunnies and the chicks and the wagon. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I decided to do the 2 chicks, one's facing left, one's facing right, and then the wagon in the middle. So I stamped those out onto watercolor paper, Canson XL watercolor paper, with My Favorite Things Black Licorice Hybrid ink. This is a great ink to use for watercoloring, Copics, any alcohol markers. I don't have Copics, but I do have alcohol markers, and this is the ink that I use. You do have to let it dry, or you can heat set it, but once that's done, it should not bleed. I've never experienced bleeding of the ink if I've let it dry long enough. That's the key, is to let it dry. So I did these stamping first, and then I did the rest of the cutting out, and then I went back and colored them in. So I watercolored them with several different colors of distress ink. Let me do a close-up to show you guys the ducks. And then I fussy cut them out, and I used pop dots. I'm not sure if you get there, you can see. These are little pieces left over from the pop dots. So I get these ones. I'll show you what the whole thing looks like. So this is a whole sheet, and then this is what happens when you pop the circles out. Don't throw this part away, because you can actually cut it down and you can use it behind the pieces, and it works perfectly. So that's what I do, and they're only $1, and I usually get them when I have a 20 or 30% off of everything coupon, and it's super, super cheap for 100 dots and then the leftover parts. So it's very economical, much better than much more inexpensive than foam tape or anything like that. Okay, so back to this. So once I cut the circles out and I had the pieces die cut on there, I went back in and I decided to take 2 stamp sets from Recollections, which you've probably seen in a previous haul video from Michael's. I just took the floral stamps from that and I used 3 different colors of ombre ink pads. The blue to purple, the pink to purple, and the pink to orange. Just wanted to stay with like springtime colors. I do have the like green to yellow, but I haven't used that one yet. So, and just stamped out a bunch of different flowers. I used a niece die from Simon Says Stamp, and it was a 3 set of dies. Niece, sister, daughter, I believe, were the 3 that were in that one. And I cut them out in the exact same colors of the background. So the egg colors are blue, green, and pink. And then I just used the color grass that I had for them to use the same color as the niece. And then I put the liner inside and I wrote a little message to my nieces in there. So that's the card. I do want to show you a trick for the ombre inking. So if you guys have never used these ombre inks before, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. So I'm going to use the orange and pink one. It doesn't matter which side is up and which side is down. And what you're going to want to do is just kind of go back and forth, up and down. It's almost like a little cha-cha motion. And then stamp the image down. And you're not going to get harsh lines. If you just stamp it like you would normally stamp something, you're going to get harsh transition lines between, because if you can see the ink pad, there are harsh lines. So you kind of have to, like Jennifer McGuire said, I'm going to steal her line from one of her videos. She said, kind of have to cha-cha the stamp back and forth. That way there's not that harsh line in between everything. So that's how it comes out. I think it comes out really, really pretty. And I found these inks to be really cool to use. So that is the card for the day. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you're not a subscriber, please feel free to subscribe. And I will see you guys again real soon for another video. Bye!